Hi, this is Scott Holstad, poet, writer, author, and here to bring you a new video. And I've been doing them the past few weeks, particularly in support of my new book of poems, Surviving Immortality Again, Scott Holstad. And it's particularly been exciting because it's my first new book of poems in a very long time. Published October 15th, 2025 by Alien Buddha Press. Available on Amazon in paperback, very nice paperback, 132 pages, 90 poems, $12.99. There are videos here, and you can find stuff of mine and probably about me all over the internet. Scott Holstad, Scott C. Holstad. My website is hankrules2011.com. And we'll do something a little bit different today, and you may notice that I am wearing a Bristol Noir apparel, merch, not just a shirt, but a hat. Oh, Bristol Noir publisher and editors, I hope you appreciate this. I'm not getting paid to those readers out there. I like to support magazines, publications that I like, as well as those that may support or publish me. Not all of them. I don't have that kind of time or money to go around supporting a billion places, but I appreciate every place that publishes me. Bristol Noir has been very, very supportive of me over the past few years, and they print a lot of really great stuff. Of course, going by the title of the journal / website, most of you ought to be able to figure out that they have a particular tone and feel that they strive for. They've been generous in allowing me to deviate from that sometimes. Their subtitle to Bristol Noir is Curiously Dark Fiction. And I'm going to read a piece today that was published just in August, a couple months ago, August 11th, on their site. It's called Premeditated by Scott C. Holstad. And it's listed as, I think it's about close to 2,000 words, as a piece of dirty realism, which it certainly contains elements of that. But like I tend to do in most of my stuff, I like to sometimes deviate from the formula or the rules or whatnot. I'm just flat out break them. What the hell? I don't know that I'm doing that, but those of you who are Bukowski fans and who enjoy his poetry from before he died, my favorite book of his came out in the late 70s and contained a poem that I remember to this day, having encountered it many, many decades ago while he was still alive. And so there's a sort of a little tribute to that particular poem in that particular book in this piece, and some of you may recognize that or elements that would be similar to some of the stuff he was doing then, because that was an intentional influence for me when I wrote this. So the story is called Premeditated, and published by Bristol Noir in August of 2025. I'll just begin. I had been wanting to do this for a long time. My pace quickened as I neared his office building. I thought about how I had been in this town for nearly a year and had found it virtually devoid of talent, inspiration, guts, for Christ's sake. Except for him. Well, I wasn't convinced of the talent, but definitely guts. Dubage, I called him. Big man, literally. Fucker was about 6'4", solid 295, maybe 300 pounds, give or take. I sometimes think that the reason he got so many books published was because he scared the shit out of people, especially cowardly publishers and editors. Kind of grotesque, I thought. I passed a middle-aged bum asleep, snoring in the alley I was walking through, and I thought briefly about rolling him. I talked to a guy last week who'd been rolled and had his nose busted for rolling 45 cents. What a ROI, huh? Return on investment. Instead, I kicked an empty Budweiser bottle and watched as it hit the back of the building in front of me, scattering into tiny sharp fragments. That, at least, seemed to get the attention of the bum. Old Dubage's office building appeared almost suddenly in front of me, and it bore a striking resemblance to the man himself. 6 stories of oversized, ugly bricks. That part of the campus almost resembled what one saw in East Germany back in the day. I wondered what kind of sound a person would make if they jumped from one of the top windows. A whoosh and then a splat. Would they die on impact? Is 6 stories death height or vegetable height? Might make for an interesting experiment. I swear I felt eyes on me, and I took a quick glance backward. But as usual, nothing obvious, at least in the legit paranoia department. Problem was, I always had paranoia. They actually once told me PPD, whatever. I noticed the red call box outside the entrance to his office building and wondered before going in how many people actually use those things. A great place to get trapped, boxed in, but his office would be on the 3rd floor. I entered the one elevator that seemed to be working and held my breath as it creaked and groaned its way to the 3rd floor. The door opened and I made my way down the hall. Old Dubage, that fat fucking fog rider, would be sitting at his desk working on yet another new book. Cup of coffee on the desk, probably not empty, but no longer steaming. Telephone unplugged. A back off sign on his door. Friendly. For an asshole. I turned a corner and found his office. His door was closed, and I noticed for the first time that there was a deadbolt lock on the door. Was it new? I didn't remember seeing it before. I grabbed the doorknob, and it offered no resistance as I slid open the door. Dubage was, of course, sitting at his desk, sweating out some shit on his ancient typer. He glanced up, looking both surprised and annoyed. Thanks for barging in like that. I'm busy. Who the hell are you, and what the hell do you want? Nice way to greet people, Dubage, old man, you ass. I've come for you, pal. I'm here to shoot you. You are guilty of literary and poetic fraud, and your crimes have been many and gone on for far too long. It is time. You're crazy. You're full of shit. Now get the hell out. I'm busy, you loser. My hands started toward my jacket pocket. Dubage, I mean it, pal. I come here to blow you away, and that's what I'm going to do. I went on, you're a disgrace to the profession. You're not a poet laureate. Anywhere, at any level. Your name is bandied about, but you're rarely seen in the literary journals, and in fact you only seem to get published in the few journals published by the academic institutions in this very state. I wonder what would happen if you submitted your typical pap to elite journals elsewhere. Have you ever tried? You know what I think? If you had to submit to a top 25 lit mag anonymously, read blindly, you get rejected at rates you can't begin to comprehend because your boring shit sucks, man. Everybody wonders how you get these sweet, huge book deals with the new big New York publishers when you have virtually no credits, awards, never seen, don't really seem to care or matter, yet huge books of your, quote, verse roll out relentlessly. It's a fucking crime against logic, poetry, poets, readers, people who actually work at it and for it. And it's proof that you've never worked your way up to the top like most other people are expected to. You've got some sweet sugar daddy taking care of all this. I mean, how'd you even land this teaching gig? Who did it for you, and how'd you pull it off? And getting back to the point, you're still going to pay for your crimes today. I appreciate the line of sweat which seemed to have appeared on his pudgy forehead. Dubich sounded a little nervous as he said, "Now don't do anything stupid here. Let's talk. What's this about anyway? What's it to you? Who doesn't benefit from relations when one has a chance? I've no doubt you'd do the same thing." The same thing. Dubich was actually admitting to guilt of some type? But what exactly? By this point, I didn't even really care that much, but I did want to make him squirm for another minute or so. I mean, I was forced to endure him in those college anthologies while good, cool poets and writers were ignored relentlessly. There had to be some sort of crime, right? Old man, let me tell you something. I've been reading your shit for years and watching your career, and I know some things about you that I bet few others do, that I bet you thought you were in the clear for good. But I know where the bodies are buried, you fucking asshole. You think about that. You think about what could be done with that information. You don't think there are some interested parties in Vegas who'd love to know? Some knee-breaking heavies? You think showing up unannounced, me showing up unannounced to shoot you sucks? Just try me and wait for the real hell that'll come your way, shithead. At this, he practically turned into a blubbering gelatin and started sobbing unintelligible shit, kind of like his bad poetry. He mumbled, "Look, please, no one knows anything. There's nothing to know. The mob's not after me. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Christ, God, have mercy." I said, "Asshole, admit you're a fraud. Admit you can't write. Admit you pay other people to write your crap. What, a bum on Skid Row? A middle school dropout? Are they even fucking literate? Do you even give a shit? How much do you pay him? Tell me." "Tell me, you asshole." Okay, you're right," he snarled. "Jesus, like it's the first time. Come on, it's not like the Bard wrote everything attributed to him nowadays. Everyone knows that. It's all a shell game. Hell, millions of people read the words of Jesus Christ constantly. But simple common sense says that's BS. He and those around him were illiterate, spoke a different language from others in the Bible, left no written teachings or sayings or anything, nor did anyone with him. The unknown gospel writers decades later just made shit up to put into the now familiar red type. The words Jesus almost certainly never spoke, and certainly not verbatim. Those writers were believed to have been Greek, or wrote in Greek anyway, but didn't know Jesus' language. There was nothing written for them to refer to anyway. It was a scam, and the world bought it. He said what they and their backers wanted him to say. I'm sure you know that. So that is literary fraud, my friend. What I've done is nothing compared to that shit. And what's it to you anyway? Why come to shoot me over nothing? Who the fuck are you? Dubich, there's no time for talk, dig. You've been one of the most overrated poet hacks in the damn country for years, and you've got this sweet gig, and you don't have to do a damn thing except imagine you've lived life, experienced life, know anything at all. You're a fraud, and I'm sick of seeing your name mentioned in all the right articles, while virtually never actually seeing anything you've written ever published in the journals, and on rare occasion when it happens, it's got no soul, man. It's as dead and empty as the bums you pay to write your drivel. You're not good enough to lift Bukowski's ballsack, or mine. So this is it. Payback's a bitch, dude. Oh, yeah, just curious. How the hell did you get those book deals with the garbage you write to have the big boys continually pump your shit out to the public? Did you make a deal with the devil? While waiting too long for an answer, I finally reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out a fighter of a poem, naturally had to be Bukowski, said, "Fuck it," and fired it straight at him, right at the middle of his sweaty forehead, before then turning and walking out of his office without a glance back. That bum had settled and was still asleep in that alley. I lit a rumpled Camel filter before heading down toward the coffee hut to chow down, relishing the surprise registered in Dubich's deadened soul eyes. There was one certain thing about our interaction I found pretty interesting. Now that I have a moment to reflect, I mean, it stood out how Dubage had crumbled when I mentioned my knowing where the bodies were, and how certain interested parties in Vegas would love to know. Why? Why that reaction if he was so fucking innocent like he claimed? Sure, I'd been bluffing. I didn't know shit. An age-old trick to mine that's virtually always successful. Is it simply that we all have shit to hide? We all have skeletons? We don't even have to mention specifics to most? People are that soft? I've taken out serious monsters that way. I've walked out of Compton freely after having some Saturday nights held at my temple by some 187s who told me to say my prayers, mofo. I said some other shit instead. I'm still here. My sins? Many. Many, I'm sure. I've probably forgotten most of them. Really, not much worse than banging somebody's wife or beating up some dick who deserved it. Certainly nothing like kidnapping or angel dust, or worse maybe, but fuck it. This isn't about me, it's about Dubage. Just what the hell had he done? And who'd want some details on him enough to pay me before they came and killed him? Life's eternal mysteries, questions worth pondering. The end. Well, as I said, labeled perhaps dirty realism, but particularly if you've read some of Bukowski's late 70 poems, you might recognize the unstable protagonist there as he shoots Dubage, pulling out a mean poem from his pocket and firing it at the other writer. It's something that always stuck with me after I read it. I thought that was pretty clever, and I wanted to incorporate that into one of my pieces one day, and it just took a hell of a long time. This was published again this year in August by Bristol Noir, and yeah, I know it's probably PG-13 or whatever the hell they use these days, if they even do. But I hope people appreciate the fact that unlike some of my truly gory shit, this actually doesn't have any gore. It's supposed to be sort of funny, over the top, once again. Writer humor. Thank you for indulging me. I hope you found this story engaging. You're welcome to like, share, comment, subscribe, etc. I still don't know the YouTube mantra, but I'm doing more and more videos all the time. I'd love it if some more of you joined in, and you're welcome to comment, to make suggestions, criticisms, heap praise. I prefer that over criticisms, but I'll take anything. And again, if you want to find more by or about me, my website's hankrules2011.com, and you can find me on Goodreads and X and Instagram and basic searches through any search engine. And that's all for today. I enjoyed reading it, and I hope those of you who've watched this will enjoy the piece yourselves. It's currently the weekend. It's actually early November 2025. I hope those of you who do see this have a good weekend, a good month, a good rest of the year, and may 2026 be better for most of us. Till then, cheers.